There's a reason some call it the UEFA Cristiano League, and it all comes down to one man, Cristiano Ronaldo. He has won everything and had set many records in the process of doing so. But once again, the obvious and most important query is how good was Ronaldo during his peak in the only tournament he seemed to love, the Champions League. CR7's Champions League adventure was started at Sporting Lisbon. The young Ronaldo first played Champions League for the Lisbon-based club of Sporting CP. He was just a young talent struggling to get his break in the first team that appeared in a Champions League qualifying match against Inter Milan in 2002. BT Sporting, Ronaldo and his team lost with the scoreline of 2-0 on aggregate and failed to feature in the tournament of the year in question. Ronaldo, before the start of the next season, switched to Manchester United and was preparing for the debut in the group stage of the Champions League. He didn't play in United's emphatic 5-0 destruction of Panathinaikos, but when he finally got his shot, he demonstrated he could cut it at this level. Recording a 2-1 loss to Stuttgart in the first knockout round, Ronaldo scored his first Champions League assist, harbinger of things to come. In that season, he featured in 5 Champions League games, but United was knocked out by the unveiling champions Porto in the round of 32. Ronaldo at this point was not the goal poacher he is now. He used to dazzle with tricks and flicks but bore little resemblance to a deadly striker, and he was not a regular in big match games. The next season, Ronaldo started to find the real form. In the first game, he rejoiced 2 assists in victory over Olympique Lyonnais. However, in the second group stage game against Fenerbahce, Ronaldo had a comparatively low-profile match, while another young talent, Wayne Rooney, sensationally scored a hat-trick in his first match for the club. Although really Ronaldo made quite an ordinary start with the Champions League, he spent his first 3 seasons he had only scored 1 goal and provided 2 assists in 12 appearances. And yet, he was still struggling for his position in the team, and for the 3rd time in a row, United's campaign finished in the round of 32. This time, to AC Milan. If you thought Cristiano Ronaldo's 2004/5 season was bad for him, and Manchester United, the next season was worse. In 6 Champions League matches, Ronaldo received more yellow cards as many goals and assists he provided. At that time, there was no sign of the fact that he would shortly outcompete everyone within the tournament. But then, by the 2006/7 football season, something happened. Ronaldo's game improved significantly, and it was reflected in the numbers, which included 3 goals and 5 assists in 11 matches. During the season, Sir Alex Ferguson had changed of the team's attacking style in order to accommodate Ronaldo more. He was no longer immobile on the right wing, began moving to goal-scoring positions. This started yielding a lot of fruits. United had a much better run in the Champions League that year, getting to the semi-finals, after which they were ousted by AC Milan again. But the following season, 2007/8, Ronaldo turned into an absolute beast, and I doubt even he could have seen what was coming. He emerged as phenomenon in that particular campaign. He transitioned from getting into figures of less than a dozen goals in the prior seasons with the Premier League to setting the record for 1 goals. That's not the end of his intellectual prowess. In the Champions League, he was just as in the previous season he scored deciding goal in the first game against Sporting Lisbon. From that instance, all going smoothly. At the end of the group stages, Ronaldo had amassed contributions in goal for 5 games. Now regularly featuring on the left wing, he was a dangerous goal-scoring threat, whilst retaining his pace, dribbling ability and love for beating players. Ronaldo only came into his own during the knockout phases of the competition. He scored in 2 consecutive games, the second leg of the round of 16 match against OL, and the first match of the quarter-final against Roma. United prevailed 1-0 over Barcelona on aggregate in the semi-final, thus putting Cristiano Ronaldo's Manchester United in the final they were destined to be in. Despite football's biggest stage being in the United Champions League final. Ronaldo rose to the occasion, scoring the matches and the season's first goal against Chelsea. But his night nearly went terrible when he missed the deciding penalty in the shootout. United stood their ground. So it completed a circle that at the end of the night, Ronaldo would be holding his first Champions League trophy. Not only did he come out as the winner of the competition, but he was also awarded the best player of the tournament and became the most successful top scorer in the Champions League, acquiring his first Gold Boot award. Although the subsequent season was not as goal-filled for Ronaldo, he again dazzled and made some eye-popping performances that confirmed him as an indispensable figure in football's Premier League. United reached yet another Champions League final through a Ronaldo spectacular in the second leg of the semis against Arsenal. Ronaldo played a part in all the goals that were scored that evening. He even scored a brace and produced a superb assist. But in the final, United failed to deliver, and Ronaldo had to settle for a runner-up, which would be his last Champions League with Sir Alex Ferguson a few weeks before the start of this year. Summer of 2009, he signed for Real Madrid, a club that was eager to put an end to a 7-year drought in Champions League trophy. Ronaldo was bought with an intention of delivering the club's long-awaited La Decima, that refers to the 10th European title. Ronaldo was quick off the mark and changed the narrative. On his Champions League debut for Madrid, he scored and added another against Les Blaves, and then scored twice in a match against Marseille. A sprained ankle kept him out of both legs against AC Milan, but returned to score 2 more goals and bring his tally in the Champions League to 6 goals in just 4 games. The round of 16 black propaganda rose its ugly head once more. Madrid was out of the competition for the 3rd time in 5 seasons. Not only was this unpalatable reality repeated in the ensuing years, but Ronaldo was playing at an individual level that was beyond reproach. During the season 2010-2011, he scored 6 goals and also completed 4 assists. In the following campaign, he ramped it up even more to 10 goals and 3 additional assists. In the subsequent season of 2012-13, he got even better and scored his first Champions League hat-trick, and he ended the season with 12 goals in 12 games for the 2nd season in a row. The number of goals equaled the number of games played. However, despite all that, him being a genius, he never seemed to lay his hands on the silverware. No, Madrid could not capitalize, but Ronaldo had established himself as a star in the making. His goal in the semi-finals against Dortmund was his 50th in the competition, something that few achieved. Then came the 2013-14 season, the year that we saw Ronaldo turn into the beast we now know. In the group stage of competitions, he broke the record for most goals scored in a competition by hitting 9 in 6 games. He started the campaign with a hat-trick against Galatasaray, then followed that with 2 goals against Copenhagen and Juventus. Ronaldo scored in the 5 group stage matches he played. He was even better in the knockout stage. As to the competition's round of 16 match held against Schalke, he scored twice, each in a different game, and set up 2 goals in the first leg. He added to his tally to score in the quarter-final stages against Borussia Dortmund. Ronaldo was relatively bench warmer in the 2 prior matches before the second leg of the semi-final match against Bayern Munich, where he scored the decisive goals at Allianz Arena, including a quite enchanting free kick. Real Madrid had last made finals of this competition in 2001-2002, and as for Ronaldo, it was his first time in the final playing for Real Madrid. The game, however, appeared to be drifting towards the rival's side, but as the stoppage time elapses, Sergio Ramos rolled the difference to take the match to extra time. There, they handed over the game to Madrid, and the rest is history. Gareth Bale and Marcelo scoring the goals, and for the final result of 3-1. While Ronaldo had earlier set up a pass for Marcelo to score, he sensed that the night could only be complete if he got on the scoreline himself. Just before the final hooter, Ronaldo scored, thus making history and making it 4-1 in favor of Madrid. His aim was the 17th of the tournament, a record average of scoring in 11 matches besides 5 assists, and neither has been emulated to date. Ronaldo not only was the highest goal scorer outside his team, but was also named the overall best footballer in the Champions League of that year. The 2014-15 season was relatively indifferent for Ronaldo. He emerged as the overall highest goal scorer with 10 goals, thus came 3rd on an individual level, but Real Madrid was knocked out and Barcelona duly supplied a historic treble. Indeed, it seemed as if that disappointment galvanized Ronaldo to release another side of himself that nobody had seen before. Of course, the competition would steadily start resembling the UEFA Cristiano League. Over the course of the next 3 seasons next year, in 2015, Ronaldo rewritten history once more. In a match against Shakhtar Donetsk, he scored the 3rd goal and became the all-time top scorer of the Champions League with 80 goals. After that match, he started scoring goals and was even notching 2-2 against Malmo, and between match day 5 in the group stage and the round of 16, he scored 8 goals and made 3 assists. What made his goals in 2014-15 football season most special was their effectiveness time, and time again just when Madrid needed him. This came after the first leg of the quarter-final was lost to Wolfsburg 2-0, until Ronaldo took the game to the semi-final stage courtesy of his hat-trick in the second leg. He ended that year of tournament play with 12 goals, the last of which was from the penalty spot in the final that brought out the 12th Champions League trophy for Madrid. For the 4th time, Ronaldo was the competition's top scorer. However, in the 2016-17 season, Ronaldo faced serious competition on the Champions League. Despite getting off the mark in the first 2 group stage games, he then went for 6 games on the trot without scoring. But that was okay. Mentally, Ronaldo remained composed because he knew his time was near. Ronaldo was on the verge of teaching the world again why the Champions League was his playground. His brace made Real Madrid be awarded a 2-1 victory against Bayern Munich away from home, and at the same time it created history. With those 2 goals, Ronaldo could be the first player in the history of the Champions League to score 100 goals. It was a great performance though, but guess what? Ronaldo was just getting warmed up. For a better understanding of his heroics, until that moment, Ronaldo had only managed to score 4 goals in the tournament. At the end of the campaign, he had scored exactly 12. How? Inasmuch as Sanchez was instrumental in helping Barcelona reach the final through scoring. Ronaldo then scored 2 more goals against Juventus in the final to become the first player to score in 3 different Champions League finals. He also retained his 5th straight Champions League Golden Boot, the 6th in a row overall. It appeared all became record to him. In the 2017/18 season, the Portuguese international continued where he left off. He netted goals in all his group stage matches against such teams as Borussia Dortmund and Tottenham. He then sustained his scoring during the round of 16 second leg match against PSG. Nonetheless, Ronaldo's highest achievement was in the quarter-final first leg against Juventus. Not only had he scored the opening goal for Madrid, it was his second that made the fans sit back in amazement. An impressive bicycle kick. It was immediately labeled a PlayStation goal by Juventus's own Andrea Barzagli. Ronaldo wasn't done yet. In the second leg, he did not disappoint as he took a decisive penalty to help Madrid win 4-3 on aggregate. Despite not getting on the score sheet any further that season, he was to win his consecutive Champions League Golden Boot. That year brought change as Ronaldo transferred from Madrid to Juventus, but his Champions League magic wasn't diminished. Ronaldo, in his first season of playing for Juve, netted 14 goals, with the highlight being another round of 16's thrashing of former tormentors Atletico Madrid. However, this experience was not very successful in his case, and so, staying there for 3 years, Ronaldo decided to go separate ways with Juventus. In the year 2021, Ronaldo went back his home to Manchester United, and how quickly he started to make fans and everyone remember his value in Champions League. In the 5 group stage matches he played, he managed to score as many as 6 goals, scoring in each of the games. However, that would be as far as his Champions League adventure with United would go. However, his achievement in the European club's premier competition cannot be reduced to the smallest pawn: most represented, most scored, most in a season. He scored the highest number of goals in Champions League final matches and the only one to have scored in 11 successive matches. He also has carried the honor of most goals in extra time knockout stage and is also the holder of most goals scored in finals. In other words, the man owns the competition. If you like this dissection of Ronaldo's Champions League career, make sure that you don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified of more epic football content in the future, right here in FC Freak.